14th, I still have no idea how many videos I have done in the 365-day video challenge, but it's 13 or 14, and I still haven't had a chance to count them. I've just been really, really busy, but I will try to get them counted so I can actually tell you exactly how many videos I've already done. But anyway, so today I want to talk to you about food truck insurance, and I want to talk to you about 3 mistakes that food truck owners make. Very common mistakes. They're just normal run-of-the-mill mistakes that food truck owners make with their insurance. So mistake number 1 is buying the cheapest policy you can find. Now I know you're going to go, but Kelly, the premiums. And I'm going to say, I know, but it goes with being a business owner. You got to pay for the insurance, right? So here's why. You do not want to pick the cheapest policy, not right off the bat. You want to make sure you do some homework first, because the reason why is typically when you find an insurance policy is cheaper than everybody else. Like, let's say it just knocks it out of the park. Let's say there's $1,000 difference between policy A and policy B. And you're like, well, it's a no-brainer. It's $1,000 cheaper. I'm going to take policy A. But is it a no-brainer? Because here's why. If the policy premium is cheaper, what are you giving up? There's a coverage somewhere that's missing. So I would behoove you to do the research. Ask the agent who's presenting you the quote to go over all the coverages. A coverage that's very commonly missing from a food truck policy, especially if you get that general liability versus the BOP, the business owner's policy. The difference is a general liability policy is going to come with the basic coverages, whereas a BOP is going to have property coverage built in with the general liability coverage. And generally speaking, BOPs have a whole lot of other coverages, everything from lock key replacement to property coverage, just spoilage. There's just so many other coverages that are built in. So when you pick the cheapest coverage, you might not have coverage for your tools. You might not have coverage for the permanently installed equipment that's in the truck. And it's very important to go over those things with the agent so that they know what your operations are and can properly cover your truck and your business. So mistake number 2 is paying extra for certificates of insurance. And this is a little insider tip. And there are going to be some agents who might hate on me for this, but there are some agents that charge for certificates. It's a processing fee in their agency that they charge to generate certificates. Well, that could be a problem. And there are some carriers that charge typically about $100 for a certificate. And you know that if you are in a food truck and you are not in Merced, okay, if you're in a food truck in another town, in another city, you're probably mobile. In Merced, you're not really as mobile because, they make you pick a spot, get a contract, pay the health department fees and all the other fees, and then you get to be in that one designated spot. And every other spot you have to pay and go through the same rigmarole to have multiple spots, right? So in Merced, a mobile food truck is not really mobile. I've had that conversation on video before. I hate it. I'm very much against the way Merced deals with food trucks. But hey, at least we have food trucks, right? Well, if you're in a bigger city, if you're in the Bay Area, you're in Southern California, you're in another place where they actually do allow you to be mobile, where your food truck operation can go from location to location, you're going to need multiple certificates because everywhere you park that truck, they're going to ask you for a certificate of insurance listing them as the additional insured. And the reason why is because you're operating business on their property and they could be sued. So they want to be covered. Okay. So you want ideally to have a policy that gives you what's called a blanket AI. Blanket additional insured means you can add 1 million of them and there's never a fee. And you also want to talk to your agent to find out where they stand. Does their agency charge processing fees for those certificates? And if so, you need to really ask yourself, how many certificates am I going to need generated? If it's a lot, do you want to pay those processing fees? And if not, then maybe that's not the best agency for you. It might not be the right fit. So don't pay an excessive amount for certificates and ask that question right up front. Mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 is something I see happen a lot. It's a little bizarre to me. And I think it just really comes down to people being given the wrong advice and people not really understanding how the insurance works for a food truck. So mistake number 3, don't purchase a one-time event policy, okay? The reason why is that policy is most likely going to be pretty stinking close, like close to what you would pay for a basic general liability policy as a food truck. So a one-time event policy is only going to cover you that one time. It's not going to cover your day-to-day operations. And once you leave that event, you're no longer covered. So you're not covered when you park that truck at home or in storage or wherever you keep your truck. You're not covered if you go to another location. You're literally only covered for that event. And event policies are cheap, which means that the agent is going to charge you, typically, not always, but typically going to charge you their own fee. And when they charge you that fee on top of the policy fee, you're now paying pretty much close to what you would pay if you had purchased an actual food truck insurance policy. So those are my 3 mistakes most commonly made by food truck owners. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up. Feel free to give me a call, 209-354-4164. You can shoot me an email. You can message me on Facebook, drop a message into my DMs. I'm going to drop some info in the text of this video to give you guys some options. You can even book an appointment with me right directly through my calendar, right on Facebook, without ever even picking up the phone and calling me. You can book an appointment with me. So anyway, those are my 3 mistakes that food truck owners make. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's 14th or 15th video. I don't even know, but I will have an answer tomorrow how many videos I've done. So have a great Wednesday, everybody. Go get you some food from a food truck, and I'll see you tomorrow.